Hi, my name is Kelly and welcome to my channel. Today, I am doing the Jane Austen Heroes tag. So recently, I did the Jane Austen Heroines tag that was created by Anne from In Search of Wonder, and her and Charlene had put that together and released it recently. And I did that and it was so much fun. And then I was talking with Haley over at Humbly Haley, and we were like, man, we'd love to do one that's focused on the heroes. And I thought I remembered there being something said about the Jane Austen Heroes tag. So we took a look at that, and it didn't have all of the heroes. Like, there wasn't a hero from every book. And it also had some people in there that were not actually the heroes of the story. So we talked about it and we decided, let's come up with our own. So that's what this is. This is our version of the Jane Austen Heroes tag. And I will also be linking Haley's video for this down below. All right, so first, of course, Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy, a book you thought you wouldn't like, but ended up loving. For me, that was The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I read this for the first time just a couple of months ago when everybody was doing it, and I went into it thinking, I'm probably not going to like this. I never had any interest in reading this, to be honest, but it was so good. I absolutely loved it. I thought that it was a beautiful story, and I laughed out loud a couple of times. It was very well done. I can see why it's a favorite for so many people from when they were children. I loved this book. Next is Mr. Bingley, a book you love despite it not being very deep. For this, I chose Sister Chicks Do the Hula by Robin Jones Gunn. Really, I would put this entire series for this question because this is just a feel-good series. So Robin Jones Gunn, what she does is for each book, she has a set of women that are usually around their 40s. That is just these two women that go on a trip together somewhere away from where they live, and they have adventures, and it's hilarious. And it's also a time where, yeah, they have a couple of deeper conversations, and they end up discovering things about themselves and about God and his character through this. But it really is just a feel-good book. I wouldn't say it's deep, but the series is so good and so funny. And I think Sister Chicks Do the Hula is my favorite, but I love them all. Now, moving on to Sense and Sensibility, Mr. Ferrars, a book you thought was one thing, but turned out to be another. For me, I'm gonna have to say Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I went into this under the impression that this was a love story. It is not. It is most certainly not. If anything, I would say that it is a story in which the two characters are trying very toxic ways to have revenge on each other. It is not a love story. And I've seen so many people referring to it as a love story, which concerns me because I cannot look at this and be like, oh, what a beautiful, it is not. It is not a beautiful love story. And my daughter read it recently, and I felt the necessity to warn her that it's not a love story. And she told me after she finished, she was like, wow, I'm really thankful that you told me that, because I would have been really concerned if I did think it was a love story. Is it still a great book? Yes. I definitely see why it's a classic and why there's so much conversation surrounding this book, but it's just not a love story. And of course, we also have to do Colonel Brandon, a book or series you will always love and defend. Now, normally for this, I would probably say Mansfield Park. But since this is a Jane Austen tag, I'm going to be good, and I'm not going to say Mansfield Park, even though I really want to. What I'm going to say instead is, of course, you all know it, Arena by Karen Hancock. I absolutely love this book. I think that there are points of it that are so deep, so profound, especially when you look at it in conjunction with our walk as Christians, very much like a Pilgrim's Progress kind of story, meets Narnia, and I love this book. I will always defend it. I know that it's not for everyone, but for me, this book is amazing, and I feel like it just gets better the more you read it. All right, on to Emma, which of course is Mr. Knightley, a book that convicted you or made you a better person. The first book I want to say here, of course, 100% is the Bible. The Bible definitely has made me a better person. It has guided me. It has improved my morals. It has shown me how to live a life that is not only healthier for me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but it has also shown me how to live a life in which I am a light to those around me. However, I feel like I should probably also mention another book as well, and that is going to be Prayer by A.W. Tozer. This was compiled by W.L. Seaver. In this, there are different speeches or writings that Tozer did on prayer, and I feel like reading this really, it convicted me in what my own prayer life was looking like at that time, and also helped me to realize, what kind of things should I be praying about? How should I be praying? Should I be praying for all of these selfish things, for my own desires, or what should be my focus when I'm praying? And that doesn't mean you can't pray for yourself and you can't pray for what you desire, but like, what should prayer look like? And how often should we do it? How important should it be in our lives? And I think that this book was really, really convicting in a good way. It didn't condemn me. It convicted me. It let me know I am not doing this at the level in which I should be, or at least I feel that I should be. And it is something that has improved my prayer life. Next is Northanger Abbey. And of course, for that, it's going to be Mr. Tilney, a book with playful or witty dialogue. So I thought on this for a while, and there are so many books out there, but most of the ones I was thinking were Jane Austen books, because her books do have playful and witty dialogue. However, after thinking on it for a few minutes, and I know I've mentioned this book a few times in recent tags, I realized Authentically Izzy by Pepper Basham is a great example of playful or witty dialogue. This book follows two characters that are very bookish. And so in their conversations with each other, they are bringing in little bits and pieces from different books, and they're quoting different things, and it's just adorable. It's absolutely adorable. I loved the conversation. I loved the dialogue in there, even though it's not, most of it isn't necessarily person to person. It is written out in emails, most of it, because it is more of an epistolary novel, but it is so adorable, and I absolutely loved it. Following this is Persuasion, which would be Captain Wentworth, a book that you loved years ago and would like to reread. For me, that is A Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I loved this book when I read it for the first time close to 20 years ago. It was one of the first classic books that I read on my own outside of school. I really enjoyed it. It had very deep conversation about how society was treating Hester Prynne and the things that her daughter witnessed, the things that her daughter experienced. And I thought it was a really great book, but I haven't read it in the past close to 20 years, so I would like to read it again. And lastly, but most certainly not least, is Mansfield Park. And for this, of course, we have Mr. Bertram, a book you almost DNF'd, but stuck with it, and it ended up redeeming itself in the end. And for me, I'm going to say for this, Hava by Tosca Lee. So towards the beginning of this book, I was already a little trepidatious because of the fact that it was kind of like a biblical retelling of the story of Eve. And I'm kind of picky when it comes to those, but because there's so little information about Eve in the Bible, I thought that I could go into it thinking of it more as just like a Christian fiction and not a biblical retelling, which I do think helped the situation. But then there were some moments in there that were on the verge. I wouldn't say that they were spicy. They were a little spicy. They were on the verge of being just a little too much for me. And I feel very uncomfortable reading stuff like that because I have a very vivid imagination. However, because Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library loved this book so much, I thought, surely it doesn't stay like this. And there has to be something deep and profound going on with this book for her to love it so much. And I was right. I kept reading it, and even though there were some very hard moments, and even though there were some very strange moments, it was a very good book. I think that Tosca Lee did a great job of showing how perfect things were before the fall and how things changed as time went on after the fall and some of the struggles that mankind had. And I think that it was very well done. I did end up liking the book, and it did redeem itself. Now, that's it. We've done the 6 main novels and the main heroes for each novel. And I am so excited to see some of your guys' answers for this. I would love to hear your answers below, or if you want to make your own video, do that. Definitely let me know about it. I'd love to see your answers for it. Also, personally, I'm going to go ahead and tag Anne from In Search of Wonder, Charlene from Coffee and a Book, and I'm going to also tag Kaylee from Luminous Libro. If anyone else wants to do this, please do it. We are in the month of Jane Austen July. Just do it. All right, well, that's it. I can't wait to hear you guys' answers. Have a great day. Bye.